This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Can you hear me now? Let's try that again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CWK Live, Tuesday nights at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zare, delighted to talk Star Wars with each and every one of you. I certainly missed you all last week, but I'm grateful to be back here at the start of the new year, January 2nd, 2024. How about it? I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and a very happy new year. Hello, everybody. Mary says her flight is delayed, so she's able to come in and say hello. Well, good. Mary had said initially that she wasn't able to join us, so it's great to see you. Josh, how are you, buddy? Great to have you on the show as well. I am thrilled to talk about tonight's topic with you. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you. Maybe I can get things a little bit brighter in here in the process. Tonight's topics, we've got your top 5 2023 Lucasfilm highlights. There are plenty of things to discuss. We're going to go ahead and explore a lot of that with you. We also have the return of Star Wars trivia and Aurebesh lessons continue. Well, let's see how things are now. A little bit brighter in here, so that's good news. There you go. So, how was everybody's holiday? I hope you had a really nice one. Hope you had fun. And I hope that you were able to enjoy time with family and friends. Let's go ahead and jump into what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so here's what we got going on tonight. This is actually last week's news. I'm actually going to jump back. We don't have a ton of news because it's brand new. You know, it's January 2nd. Not much has been happening in the world of Star Wars yet because it's only been a couple of days since 2024 started. Father Jimmy is here. Hello, Father Jimmy. Great to have you back on this show. It's time to get back into our Aurebesh lessons. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit rusty on my lessons, but let's do a little refresh. As always, I encourage you to get out a piece of paper, as I'm doing right now, and I encourage you to write out all of the existing letters. So let's refresh our memories on the letter A. As you know, it sort of looks like a K, and again, as I always say, I take this, and as I'm writing the letter in Aurebesh, I write it and keep saying to myself, letter A, over and over and over again. Then let's see, we have the letter B. The letter B is always the easiest for me to remember. I guess A is too, but I've also been spending the most time with them. Remember, with all these things, the more you do it, whether it's learning Aurebesh or whatever you're doing, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be for you to remember. And writing it, to me, is a huge way to learn things. So the letter B, again, is that little 8-bit looking hamburger. You draw your little top and bottom part. It's almost like a flying saucer that you see on an Atari game with a little dash in the middle, and that's the letter B. So go ahead and write the letters A and B a couple of times. If you haven't done so already, I will do the exact same thing. There's my A, and there is my B. It's not going to be super fancy and nice and neat, but it is going to get the job done. Now C is a fun one because you just draw 3 lines up and down. Hello, Elijah. What's up, buddy? Good to have you on the show. Darren says, looks redecorated. Yes, the Christmas decorations are down, and I put some other things back. I adjusted the camera so you can see a little bit more of what's going on in the studio, per se. So with the letter C, you draw a line up and down. About, a medium-sized line, if that makes sense. Then you go halfway down that first line to the bottom of the line, and then you go over one more, find the top part of your medium one, and then draw down, and it is the same length as the first one. As you can tell, I am not an art teacher, so this is making no sense. I apologize. It is much easier to do it with the video. Greg is here. He says, I like the hat collection. Thank you. I've got quite a few more that are just out of focus. A lot of Star Wars and Lucasfilm things. There's even a cool Chicago Cubs one that has a Jedi lightsaber on it as well. Let's go to the letter D. This one is fun because it's basically a 7 with a line in the middle that goes across kind of perpendicular to the top, but it does not go across the little slant. Again, if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, I'm not sure what he is saying, and I understand. I respect that. That's why it helps if you're watching the video portion. And remember, if you're not able to join us live on Tuesdays on coffeewithkenobi.com/live, you can always watch the replay on our Facebook page or on Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel, as well as on coffeewithkenobi.com, right there, the website itself. So again, there's the letter D. It looks like a 7 with a line in the middle. Now, E is the one we learned 2 weeks ago, so this one might be the one that's the most tricky to remember, but it's a V with a little line across, and then it's almost like you're attaching a V and a very small T, not small t, but a capital T together. So a large V, a small capital T, and you kind of bridge them together, and that is the letter E. E. You can hear me writing it over and over again. That is the letter E. Okay, so now we're going to do that. Turn on those notifications, get great reminders of the live show. Helps me out. You know what? That is a great idea. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, be sure to put on those Facebook notifications, get reminders of the live show, or if you subscribe to Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel, you will get an email sent to your account when the show goes live, because it does go live on YouTube the same time it does on Facebook. Now here's the new one. This is letter A, B, C, D, E. The next letter, kids, F. This one I've never drawn before until just now. It's quite unique. So you kind of draw a slant. It's almost like, I don't know, the bottom of a circle, the very, very bottom part of a circle. Then you draw a line down, and then you draw a line across. And then you kind of go through the middle of the bottom line and go up through the top line. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's mine right there. There is the letter F. This is fun. I got to say, it's kind of fun to, a resting R. Yes, it's kind of fun to try to draw these, because sometimes I feel like I'm drawing hieroglyphics, but I'm not. And it's starting to work more and more as I look at a lot of my coffee mugs have Aurebesh writing on them, or some of my t-shirts, and I'm kind of taking a second and third look, and I'm like, wait, that's an A, that's a B, that's a C, and starting to connect dots, which is pretty exciting. I'll give you a chance to draw that letter F, Aurebesh style, a resting R, as Greg says right there. Then you draw a line across the top. And my first one was a lot better. I don't know how you are all doing. I hope that people are doing this along with me. Otherwise, this is probably really boring to watch. Me staring at a piece of paper. But that is the letter F for your Aurebesh lesson for the week. Remember, the only way to get better is to practice. It's the same with everything. You just got to keep writing these over and over again, saying the letters in your head. I do it. I have a notepad as I doodle, or as just when I'm on the phone or whatever I'm doing when I'm watching TV. Mary's going to practice when she gets home. That one is quite different. I was able to translate the top of the Keenan Jarrett lightsaber box. You know what? I was too. And it was pretty cool. And I saw that you posted that in the CWK Cafe, which was fun. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at our top 5. Our top 5 tonight is one that is actually similar to a podcast I just recorded with James Burns and Steve Galloway from Jedi News. We're going to look at the top 5 Lucasfilm highlights from 2023. Now, what happened in 2023? Well, a lot of things happened in 2023. I had to refresh my memory on some of them because I had actually forgotten how much has happened last year, which is like, it's funny that 2024 is 2 days old. But number 5 for me, I put Ahsoka. Some of you might put this higher. I really enjoyed Ahsoka a lot. The only thing that made this a little bit higher on my list for me is that the last episode I sort of struggled with, but I've already talked about that a bunch of times, so no need to rehash it here. But it was really, really good. Great to see Ahsoka in live action, and Sabine, and all of these beloved characters, to get see a continuation of some of the ideas from Rebels. I still don't see it as Rebels Season 5 because I think it's a different focus, but it was really, really cool. Robert's number 5 is Crimson Climb by E.K. Johnston. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad to see a book made it on the list already, so that's very cool to see. Mary's number 5 is also Ahsoka. It's great to see so many of you joining us. If you're just now jumping in, my name is Dan Zera. Happy to be talking on CWK Live with you about Star Wars things. It's been a while. Been a couple weeks, so it's great to be back. Greg's number 5 is Bad Batch Season 2. Breakfast with the Bad Batch, was that what you called it, Greg? Greg and Greg on Rebel Base Card Podcast. They always have great recaps of the different Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. So be sure to follow along and subscribe to Greg's Rebel Base Card Podcast if you do get a chance to do so. You will not regret it. Anybody else want to put in their number 5? StarWars.com actually has a great recap of different things that happened in 2023 in the world of Star Wars. So if you want to hop over there real quick, I get that, and so you can refresh your memory. Otherwise, I'll get and jump into number 4. There are quite a few of you on, but no one has typed in, and that's totally okay. I'm just going to move on to number 5. If you want to add your number 4 later, please feel free to do so. Number 4 for me, a new Indiana Jones film. Can you imagine? A brand new Indiana Jones film with Harrison Ford? I'm a little rusty on this whole microphone business, apparently. It was awesome. You know, we saw that in 2023. We got to see a brand new Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford. It was a great experience to go to the movies with my son, to have everybody excited about Indiana Jones for several months. We had new collectibles, lots of new things to enjoy about this beloved franchise, this amazing character. We got a great documentary out of it, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago on CWK Live. Number 4 for Murray is the High Republic books. More books to talk about. And yes, The Eye of Darkness, the new one for Phase 3, is really, really good. Looking forward to talking about that in the future. Robert's number 4 is The Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. They were, I haven't seen them yet on Blu-ray, but Jeff McGee and some other people I know have said the picture is amazing, and I have no doubt. Father Jimmy's next one is The Mandalorian Season 3, which has not yet come up. That's a good call, too. Greg's number 4, Jedi Survivor. Can't wait for it to port to my PS4, but from what Greg Cass has played, it sounds great. I've heard a lot of great things about Jedi Survivor. I have not as well. Mary's getting ready to board. Mary, safe travels for sure. Mary's number 3 is Dial of Destiny, 2 is Bad Batch, and 1 is the announcement of new movies. Thank you, Mary. Again, safe travels to you. Let's go ahead and jump into number 3. Number 3 for me is Celebration Europe. This was, not everybody was able to join me over there, or, just Star Wars fans in general. I missed seeing you there. I will say that for me personally, and all these lists are very personal and individualized, of course, I really enjoyed Celebration Europe. I got to hang out with Father Jimmy for the first time, which was wonderful. Got to see a lot of friends. There was the announcement of new movies like Mary announced. There was great collectibles, a great atmosphere, a lot of joy. There were just a lot of good moments at Star Wars Celebration Europe. I had a really nice exchange with my dear friend Marcus Doring before he passed. Kind of gets you choked up to think about. So that was great to be able to see him. I didn't mean to make this emotional. I'm sorry. But Celebration Europe was wonderful. It was really fun. You got that excitement of Star Wars going. And if you're lucky enough to go to Japan in 2025, that'll be where the next Star Wars Celebration is going to take place, which is fabulous. Father Jimmy's For Eye of Darkness, not finished yet, but so far excellent. Yes, indeed it is. Looking forward to your thoughts on that. Greg's number 3 is Vision Season 2. Season 1 was a breakthrough, but 2 is a huge improvement for me. Such a great variety of styles and stories. The variety is the big part of this because it wasn't all anime. Very, very different stuff. Darren likes that one, but I put the announcement of the new Star Wars movie third. Yeah, the new Star Wars movie itself, the 3 movies that are been reported to be made, as Lucasfilm has shared with us on stage Celebration, sound very, very promising. Robert's 3, the beginning of the High Republic Phase 3, which is, again, a really, really good. The Eye of Darkness. It's really good, Robert, and looking forward to see your thoughts on that one as well. let's go ahead and jump into number 2. Number 2 for me, I have the Galactic Star Cruiser trip. Again, not something that everybody was able to be a part of, unfortunately, but I have to put it on here because it was very special to me. I cemented really great relationships with friends, became like family. Just experiencing the Star Cruiser, which of course is not in existence anymore. Hopefully it does come back in some way, shape, or form. But the memories were great, and hopefully as we shared news and stories and video and images from that experience, I hope you felt like you were a part of it too, because you are. Always happy to bring you along. Darren's number 2 is the Bad Batch Season 2. Love that. Greg's says the various 40th anniversary specials and tie-ins. Love looking back at a great film for Return of the Jedi. It's all a reminder of me being 40 years older. No. It's not the years, it's the mileage, right? Robert's number 2 is the Bad Batch Season 2 as well. Mr. Fudge is here, who I just saw him and his brother a few days ago, as well as Darren. He said Bad Batch, the new Bad Batch season, which was great. Josh says, have faith will be back in new form. I'm optimistic about that. I'm hopeful. Very hopeful. Brent Waffles number 2 is also the Bad Batch series. Definitely cannot go wrong with that. Father Jimmy's Celebration in Europe was number 2 for him. It was great to meet you there, Dan. Great to be back in Celebration since 2005. Yes, absolutely. It was great fun. Star Wars Celebration is always so great for talking with people and spending time with them and getting to not only enjoy Star Wars, but just life and chatting with your friends in person. That's sometimes hard to do when you live in various parts of the world. But number 1 for me, Bad Batch Season 2. I try not to get super excited when other people mention it, but inside I had fireworks because I thought the Bad Batch Season 2 was my favorite thing that Lucasfilm did, and a packed, amazing, incredible 2023. A lot of great stories, storylines, experiences. You know, the HasLab Ghost, we didn't even mention that. There were so many awesome things that happened. So I got a lot of other things written down here too, but there's so many fun things. But I had to put Bad Batch Season 2. It was my favorite thing that happened on Disney Plus this year. I really enjoyed it so much. It was emotional. It was surprising. It connects to the story very, very well. The animation is great. Kevin Kiner's music is great, as it is in Ahsoka. But everything Kevin Kiner does is tremendous. It just really hit all the right narrative notes for me. Great character pieces as well. Bad Batch Season 2 was my top 2023 Lucasfilm moment or experience. Robert's number 1 is Ahsoka. Glad to hear that, Robert. Greg says Ahsoka was amazing, beginning to end. Love seeing many characters brought out of animation. Great story as well, even though I agree the ending left me wanting more. That's a good way to put it. Father Jimmy's number 1 is The Bad Batch. Tech's death was a moving and bold piece of storytelling as well as very surprising, too. Zach, everything Star Wars is in my top 5. Too much to mention. Hey, Zach. Great to see you, buddy. Happy New Year to you. Mr. Fudge's number 1 is the Mando series, Season 3. Darren's number 1, Ahsoka released to a live show versus animation. Started a bit rocky, but it got going pretty well. We hope they green light Season 2. I do too, Darren. That would be, I think, a welcome thing for people to get a chance to see. Although I didn't see much, honorable mention the Young Jedi Adventures. Greg said his kids really liked it. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's really a thrilling one. It's great for kids to experience. It's a great gateway into Star Wars for younger audiences, and it's very much lovingly well done. And I talk about that a lot on this week's Coffee with Kenobi that you'll get to hear in a couple of days. Before I want to show you next week's top 5. You know, I don't think we've done this before. We've gone over the individual movies in different ways, but I want to talk about special quotes. And if I go through my history and I find we've already done this, then I'll just chalk it up to vacation brain and I'll find some new quotes. But I don't think we've done this. We're going to go through all the movies. Your top 5 Star Wars, the Phantom Menace quotes. We're going to start in chronological order. So we're going to start with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Get your top 5 Star Wars, The Phantom Menace quotes ready to go. Hey, it's a good time to rewatch it anyway as well. If you've got Disney Plus, it's very easy to do. Zach says, yes, love this. I'll have them ready. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Hope you can join us. Speaking of Disney Plus, massive news happened today. Disney announced some incredible things. If you are a Disney Plus subscriber, you get a free dining plan at Walt Disney World if you know what the dining plan is insane. You get most of your meals covered and paid for. And that's usually a cost. But for this, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, it's a free one, a free dining plan at Walt Disney World. Here are some of the details. Disney Plus subscribers get a free dining plan and purchasing a non-discounted 4-night, 4-day Walt Disney Travel Company package that includes a room at a select Disney Resort hotel and a theme park ticket with a park hopper option. Valid most nights July 1st through September 30th of 2024. You can visit the feature offers page beginning on January 3rd for additional offer details. Again, most nights from July 1st through September 30th, 2024. Go to mousefantravel.com/CWK, and I'm going to have some more information for you on Coffee with Kenobi's website really, really soon. So if you partner with our official travel partner, MEI and Mousefan Travel, they will help you get the best experience possible. And look, again, Disney Plus subscribers get a free dining plan. That is incredible. Speaking of that, I've talked with Becky the other day. We're really excited for the summer of 2025 to go on the Disney Wish with you. It's coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. If you want to find out about booking your experience on a Disney Wish with us, going with us and MEI and Mousefan Travel, as the dates are announced, and hopefully it's very soon, we'll get that date announced to you so you can get ready to start planning your trip with us. Carrie agrees it's a nice deal. I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, I wasn't planning on going to Disney this year, but with that's a huge deal. It saves you a lot of money. Zach says, you know what? Star Wars Fortnite event was super fun too, just to mention. You know what? I agree. Star Wars Fortnite is awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. Really glad you brought it up. Okay. Let's take a look here. That seems like it's not as orange. Okay, I'm just babbling. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Where are we? I talked about next week. We're going to do our top 5 Star Wars The Phantom Menace quotes. But now it's time for something that we haven't done in about a month. It's time for some Star Wars trivia. Here we go. You know how this works, right? When you're doing Star Wars trivia. Oh, I lost my... let's see. Star Wars trivia, when we do this, my hope is that you will join us, that you will think about it, and that you will make sure, of course, that you are not going to look up anything, but you're just going to do your very, very best. And that's all we can ask, right? That's all we can ask. Okay, I've got some questions for you, as I said. Don't look anything up, just do your best. All right, I've got 5 questions, so get ready. Here we go. What is Porter Engel's nickname? He is a character from Star Wars, The High Republic. He has a very unique, important nickname. What is Porter Engel's nickname? I'll give you a few moments to let me know what you think. It's hard for me to give any hints because I don't want to give anything away. But the question is, what is Porter Engel's nickname? Robert says the Blade of Bardosa. Father Jimmy says the Blade. Okay, that's getting kind of a Zorro theme here, which is cool. It strikes me that when I say Zorro, some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. He was a really great swashbuckling adventure character. Think of the Lone Ranger, but with a rapier instead of a pistol. The Lone Ranger, you may not know who that is either, but he was an exciting character too. I'm just kidding. I'm sure most of you know who that is. Again, the question is, what is Porter Engel's nickname? So far, I've got 2 guesses. There are quite a few of you on now, so there are no penalties for guessing. Please feel free to do so. Throwing my hat in with these great CWK Live fans on this one. Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to give the answer. Father Jimmy says he's his favorite High Republic character. Well, the answer to what is Porter Engel's nickname? His full nickname is the Blade of Bardotta. Bardotta. That's Bardotta. He is a great character. You mean the grandfather of the Green Hornet? Yeah, basically. And that's speaking of who wouldn't maybe know. Carrie says Chewbacca. Well, no, but she did put an LOL, so we're good with that. So yeah, the Blade of Bardotta is Porter Engel's nickname. Let's go to number 2. Another High Republic question. What species is a carnivorous plant that terrorizes the galaxy in the High Republic? Again, that question, what species is a carnivorous plant that terrorizes the galaxy in the High Republic? Again, it's hard to give any hints. If you haven't read the High Republic or the comics, you may not know. The question was, what species is a carnivorous plant that terrorizes the galaxy in the High Republic? Robert says it is the Drangir. Okay, thank you, Robert. Appreciate you chiming in on that. Anybody else have any ideas about the species of the carnivorous plant that terrorizes the galaxy in the High Republic? We've got one guess so far for the Drangir from Robert. Does anybody else have a guess? It's a carnivorous plant that terrorizes the galaxy in the High Republic. And if you're not sure, that's fine. Father Jimmy says Drangir, I can't remember how to spell it. Well, it appears you both spelled it correctly. It is Drangir, Drengir. They're pretty creepy. They're almost like these amorphous plant-like creatures that eat people, and they're able to sneak up on you sometimes, and they can vary in size, and they are quite a challenge for our heroes. Let's go to number 3. On what planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? How about that for a question? On what planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? You don't have to be a reader of the High Republic to know this one. Or do you? Again, that question is, on what planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? Greg weighs in. He says the answer is Scarif. Okay. Thank you, Greg. Anybody else have a guess on what planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? Remember, this is the first official shots. So, I think I've stumped our illustrious panel here. Not a lot of guesses. So far, only Greg has weighed in. The question one more time. On what planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? Robert says Jeddah. Okay, very good. So 2 guesses from Rogue One. Very, very cool. Anybody else have any ideas on that? Okay, I will share the answer. What planet are the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War fired? Father Jimmy also says Jeddah. The answer is Scarif. So, Greg, you are correct on that one. Scarif is where the first official shots of the Galactic Civil War were fired. Let's go to question number 4. Number 4, what is Agent Callus's first name? Agent Callus from Star Wars Rebels. On what is Agent Callus's first name? And it is not Agent. Don't be that person. That's too low of a hanging fruit for you. You are better than those jokes. Okay. What is Agent Callus's first name? Robert says Maximilian. What a great name. That is Robert's guess for Agent Callus's first name. Robert says it is Maximilian. Anybody else have a guess? What is Agent Callus's first name? He's quite a cool character in Star Wars Rebels. And we have one guess so far for what his first name might be. Robert says it is Maximilian. Does anybody else have a guess? No, I don't have any time thing. If you want to ring in, just let me know and I will call on you and you can answer. Again, this question is, what is Agent Callus's first name? His name is Alexander, but it is spelled Alexsandr. Alexander Callus. That is Callus's first name. Okay, last one. What is Admiral Mahdi's job on the Death Star? I used to feel like these were way too easy. Now I feel like I've made them too hard. But, I probably would only know half of these, to be honest. Question, last one is, what is Admiral Mahdi's job on the Death Star? The answer is to supervise the space defenses of the Death Star. Oh, jeez. I can't believe I just read the answer. Oh, well. Did you know it? Oh, jeez. I can't believe I did that. The question was, what is Admiral Mahdi's job on the Death Star? His job was to supervise the space defenses of the Death Star. Nobody answered in the 10 seconds I gave you to try to come up with an answer. I apologize for that, friends. Did anybody know? I'm just curious. Did anybody know the answer to what is Admiral Mahdi's job on the Death Star? Was anyone going to say to supervise the space defenses of the Death Star? I wasn't going to say that. Greg says, that's a great answer, Dan. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for inspiring me to read what I had in front of me. Josh wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about that. In fact, when I saw the answer, I was surprised. A lot of these answers, by the way, are in Pablo and Emily's book, Star Wars Dawn of the Rebellion, the Visual Guide. It's awesome. I'll show you the back. I can't remember when it's been released yet, but we're going to talk a lot more about this book in the coming weeks for sure. It's really, really good. Robert says, we probably still not get it even after you said it. Those were hard. They were very, very hard. Darren says, trying to stay alive. You know, I'll try to throw in a couple of softballs in there too. These are all ones that I think will be a good challenge for people. These will be good challenges for me. I know they would be for you too. Greg says, stay on target. Josh actually gave that book to 2 people for Christmas. Oh, good. Good. I thought it was out already, but I couldn't remember when it actually came out. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. All right, so next week we already know what we're going to do. We're going to give your top 5 quotes from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which is going to be really fun. Don't forget, I mean, again, this just came out and was announced today, but it's such a big deal. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you get a free dining plan at Walt Disney World if you travel between July 1st through September 30th. There are a couple of maybe nights that don't possibly work. Full details, go to mousefantravel.com/CWK. I'm going to have some cool stuff on the website to fill in some of the gaps for you, but don't forget to act now. It's really, really good. And when you book it, make sure you mention Coffee with Kenobi. I would sure appreciate it. What advice would I give to someone who's never been on a sea cruise and is concerned about seasickness? So that's tricky, Robert. Here's what I know of. Of course, there's a patch you can get to help you, but most people I know that are seasick, because the cruise is so smooth, you don't even know that you're moving, I don't think. In fact, the first time I did a Disney cruise, actually the only time I did a Disney cruise now that I think about it, I was on like, I think the 2nd or 3rd deck, and we were right by the anchor. And even when we anchored, I heard nothing. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel seasick at all. Now, I don't really get seasick, but I'm usually aware of the motion. I didn't even notice it. So I think, I hate to give any medical advice. I just think it's very, very doable, I believe. So it didn't affect me at all. That's the best thing I can say. Mr. Fudge, New Year's was great. It's a nice, relaxing evening at home with my family, which is wonderful. Am I planning to attend any cons in 2024? Well, Josh, I would like to, but it always kind of depends on my schedule, I guess, with all of us, and what's going on. How many day cruises are you shooting for in 2025? That's a good question, Darren. I don't know yet. Usually those things are like 3 or 4 day cruises. I'm going to look at it and see what dates work best, but it'd be either 3 or 4 most likely. Why'd you take down your Christmas decorations already? So we usually put them up so early, and I know liturgically it's still the Christmas season, but I didn't want to have to take them down when school started. I'm going back in less than a week, and I just wanted to kind of start fresh. And we always kind of do a reboot at our house around this time of year anyway. Do you have any plans for that coming Steam into Star Wars at WCHS, another live show? Yes, there is going to be a live show. I'm going to talk a lot about Steam into Star Wars very, very soon. You can hear me live at Washington Community High School in Washington, Illinois, if you are in the area. So looking forward to seeing you all there if possible. Thank you so much for joining me on the first CWK Live of 2024. As always, I'm your host, Dan Zera. It's been great to catch up with all of you. Again, Happy New Year. Oh gosh. Happy New Year to all of you, and I will see you next week. I am Dan Zera. Again, thanks everybody. May the stars light your way. This is the live podcast you're looking for. See you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.